The Bankers Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria is set to introduce new measures to check the sale of foreign exchange to Nigerians for payment of school fees and medical bills abroad. Speaking with journalists after the committee meeting in Abuja, the managing director of Access Bank, Herbert Wigwe, and his counterpart at the Standard Chartered Bank, Bola Adeshola, said with the demand for payment of school fees and medical bills hitting 15% of forex demand, the CBN was left with no choice than to stop the sale of forex to such Nigerians. Nigerians are, however, advised to visit the parallel market to make such transactions, as banks will no longer sell forex to them.
We find different pressures on different banks in terms of demand, but generally never below 15% of the demand of the current foreign exchange that is being given to the banks. That, by any stretch of imagination, is significant. Now, the deliberations we had today did not agree on the final position, but one thing was clear, which was the fact that we should not allow this demand to crowd out real sector investment. Because in any event, the money that you get to pay the school fees is from, industry that is working normally, locally. The second point is that why can't we revisit the educational system and make sure our children go to school locally? Why can't we revisit the healthcare system to make sure it works, better? Why must we spend tons of money around allowing people spend money on children's school fees overseas, or medical tourism, as they call it? Now, the idea is not that you can't do it. The point is that you cannot access it from the central bank's limited resources. That is the simple point.
If you think about it, the pressure on foreign exchange now from school fees abroad is significant. At what point would we begin to look inwards? The pressure on medical is significant. At what point would we begin to look inwards? And I think as Nigerians, we also need to be patriotic in terms of our sentiments. We need to think about what will I sacrifice today for the long-term benefit of the country and of the economy.
On the 50 Naira stamp duty, the Director, Corporate Communications of the Apex Bank, Ibrahim Muazu, explained that the banks were only serving as point of collection, as it was the federal government's policy.
So the banks are only agents, as he described. It is revenue for the federal government being collected on just one segment of the whole picture, because we're only looking at these transactions through the banks. The stamp duty is in every other business.
Earlier, Director of Banking Supervision Department of the CBN, Tukumba Martins, who intimated journalists on some of the issues discussed, disclosed that the banking sector had witnessed progress in its financial inclusion drive, as over 57 million people now have access to financial services, which is about 66% of Nigerians. Osam Raffo, Bental Vision.
Contrary to opinions in some quarters that the current anti-corruption crusade is targeted at opposition parties, especially the People's Democratic Party (PDP), the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has said that the 55 people he earlier mentioned to have embezzled 1.34 trillion naira cuts across different political parties. The minister, who was speaking when he received members of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Anti-Corruption Crusade in his office in Abuja, said those insisting that the names of the people involved should be mentioned are getting the whole thing wrong, as that is not the motive behind the anti-corruption fight.
Not everyone has joined the campaign, but we see the increased national debate on corruption as a positive development, because the more people are aware of the evils of corruption, the cost of corruption to their livelihood, the more the likelihood for them to support the government's battle against corruption. Some have picked issues with the figures we have been quoting, wondering whether we have verified them before giving them out. Others have said the figures were aimed at whipping up emotions. Our response is that anyone who cares enough to seek such information will find out that the figures are neither new nor concocted. They have been in the public domain for quite a while. Those involved are being prosecuted in our courts, and the names of the specific courts and the prosecutors are available. We did not identify the accused by name because that was not the purpose of the information we gave out.
The head of the advisory committee, Professor Ishe Sagi, who took time to enumerate the benefits of the anti-corruption crusade to Nigeria, said it is actually the populace that suffers whenever people steal money meant for the development of the nation's infrastructure.
The consequences and devastation we have suffered as a result, for Nigerians to begin to consider that when there is massive corruption, it is not government that is suffering. It is the ordinary man who is the greatest victim. For them to associate themselves with the victimization which have arisen from these terrible acts of corruption which we have seen in the last few months. We expect the cooperation of the NTA, the FRCN, and the National Orientation Agency in, for example, having jingles, maybe before the most important news items, when everybody is tuning in, jingles that actually promote the anti-corruption struggle.
Sagi said the visit became very necessary as parastatals under the Ministry of Information and Culture will play a very vital role in the anti-corruption crusade. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejirogenefifen for Ben Television.
The Senate Committee on Federal Capital Territory has queried the high cost of the ongoing Abuja Rail project. Chairman of the committee, Senator Dino Melaye, who led other members of the committee to the site of the project around FCT, said the cost of the project is higher compared to the similar project in other parts of the world.
The total contract sum at that time was $841 million, or specifically $841,645,898. The completion period, as agreed at that time, was 48 months from 2007. The scope of work to be done at that time is 60.67 standard gauge double railway track and associated permanent way within the FCT.
Senator Dino, however, pledged that the Senate would support the completion of the rail project. About $550 million have been so far injected into the Abuja Rail project, which is at 71% completion stage. The project is expected to be commissioned by December this year. From Abuja, Muyo Bamdele reporting.
People's Democratic Party's candidate in the forthcoming rerun in Abia North Senatorial District, Mawo Ohabunwa, has urged the judiciary to complement federal government's efforts in the fight against corruption. Mawo Ohabunwa made this known in an exclusive interview with Ben Television in Abuja. He called on the judiciary to help the anti-corruption agencies dispense corruption cases speedily, as the present government is committed to wipe out corruption in Nigeria.
Because when you leave issues of corruption for many, many years, you discourage those who want to act well, and you encourage those that have corruptive tendencies to continue. I give you an example. In Abia State, there was a corruption case against the former governor, and he's still there since 2007. Every day he will go to court. He will ask that he started with High Court to appeal. Now he's also asking Supreme not to allow EFCC to investigate him. So our judiciary should come on board to look at how to dispense with these corruption cases, because that is the only way. Because those who are found wanting should face the music and face the sanction. But when they keep using judicial openings to keep themselves in system, and in so doing they corrupt both the judiciary and others who are also outside.
Senator Mawo, who spoke on the forthcoming rerun of some constituencies that was annulled by tribunals and appeal courts, cautioned INEC to be mindful of the kind of ad hoc staff they will deploy during the elections.
Because some of them have no integrity. Some are just there, they think it's opportunity to make money. So they don't care about the image of INEC. What they're interested in is what will come to them. So let them be sure that before they bring in any ad hoc staff, especially at the high level of either returning officer, collation officer, supervisor, must be people they can vouch for as regards their integrity and their position. People that even the establishment where they work can give a guarantee on them. It's important because when you allow these people who think it's all money-making thing, they might mess up every plan, the good plan of INEC. So I want to warn them to be careful and know the caliber of people they bring in to be part of the election, the process.
It would be recalled that Senator Mao Onhabonwa was removed by an appeal court in Owerri after serving for about 6 months. He told Ben Television some achievement he made at the space of time he was at the Senate.
First and foremost, I want to say that on my resumption as a senator, and before I went, I knew what the things I asked God to help me achieve because I had covenant with God and with the people. One major issue in terms of infrastructure was the Arochukwu Hafia Road. And I think the next day after our inauguration, I was on the floor and I moved a motion bringing the issue of Arochukwu Hafia Road into the national landlight, and the Senate resolved. So the next day after, I moved a motion as regards landslide, that is gully erosion in Isukwato, Bende, Ohafia, and indeed other parts of Abia North, which was consolidated with other parts of the country. And based on these two motions, the Senate raised a high-powered delegation. Another aspect, one thing I can call an achievement again, was that when I was campaigning, some parts of my constituency complained about power, especially in Umunochi local government, that they had no light for years. And the motion I moved as regards National Electricity Regulation Commission, transferring the excesses of their fund as enshrined in the Act to a Rural Electrification Fund to enable REA get funds to connect all parts of the country to the national grid. I'm happy that within this short period, God had used me to move these motions, and they were quite impactful.
He further advised the youth to look beyond money politics and avoid any politician that would want to use them cause violence before, during, and after elections. From Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.